So once the chicken broth dissolves, it kind of gets soaked up by the onions. So instead of frying, I kind of like fry them in chicken broth. I don't know what the technical term is, but that's what I did. So I'm going to add a little bit more chicken broth. And through this whole thing, I'm going to be using like 2 cans of chicken broth. So then I'm going to get the temperature up, and then I'm going to add my tomatoes because my onions are real soft and caramelized, and my bell peppers will take a while, but as I make my sauce, they'll eventually get really tender. So I added some pepper, and I added some garlic salt to it, which I'll add some more. So I sliced up my tomatoes, just longwise, or how do I do it? What's the name of that? I don't know. So I'm just kind of going to mix it together in there. And these are tomatoes that I've had in my fridge for like a week now that I haven't used. So instead of throwing it away, I decided to make a sauce out of it. So then I go ahead and I mix it. And then I'm going to add some more pepper. And then some more garlic salt. And then what else I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I don't know how to say this, but it's rotel. It's diced tomatoes, chilies, and onions. And I'm going to put it in there. It's rotel. And it's 0 points. Everything that I'm putting in here so far is 0 points. Let me add another one. Now before I was on Weight Watchers, I would first saute the onions and bell peppers in half a stick of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I would get it caramelized, and then I would add the other vegetables and everything, but my base would be butter and olive oil. And then later on I would add another stick of butter to make it a little bit more creamier and just more richer, and it was really good that way. But it's really good this way too. But this is absolutely like almost fat free. I think the only fat that's in it is the shrimp, and that's, what is it, 1.5? I think it's 1.5 for 4 ounces. So I'm just going to let this simmer, and I'm going to add a little bit more chicken broth so the tomatoes will cook and turn into a sauce. So I'm going to let it simmer for a while.
Okay, go.
Okay. Let me put this.
It's fine.
Okay. Anyway, so my sauce is oh my god, I knew all these technical words, but now I totally lost them. But I'm letting it, simmer, and then it's gonna, what's that word? I forgot the word. But anyway, I added 2 cans of tomato sauce, and I added a juice of 1 lemon. And then I'm going to add a handful of cilantro, and I'm going to still let it cook some more. And I think I'm going to cover it. Not right now because I can't find the thing.
You're not prepared.
I'm not prepared. So I'm going to make my rice. And this is not for me, this is for my family because they're having crabs. So how I make my rice, because everybody loves my rice. I put in yay so much of oil. And I'm adding 3.5 cups of rice, which is all I have left. So 3.5 cups of rice, and probably a little bit more oil. So that's probably like a 4th cup of oil. But it's like a fried rice. But not really. But kind of. But my pan's not hot, so I'll be editing this part out. Anyway, so you stir in the rice with the oil, because you're kind of gonna toast the rice. So you kind of just let it toast. And then, oh man, I was so nervous I forgot my onions. First you do your onions, but that's okay. First you saute your onions. And then you put the rice in. I'm such a professional. I'm so boring. Huh. Am I boring? I think I'm boring. Anyway, so I'm going to let this You on? Okay, so you hear the sizzle? That's the rice. My thing is hot. That's the rice starting to toast. And then the rice kind of turns like a pale white, and the rice that's not cooked, not toasted, is kind of like a clear white. And the onion will cook in the broth, in the water. So as it's toasting, I add, it's called, it's consomme, but it's shrimp consomme, because they're having seafood tonight. So I kind of just crumble this in there, and it's shrimp. It's like a broth and a powder. Do you smell it? It smells good, huh? Mm-hmm. And then they come in these little silver packets. Kind of mix it in there. As it's cooking, after you put the consomme in, I add 1 can of tomato sauce. I use a lot of tomato sauce. And then I add a half a bell pepper. And then I stir it in there. Ow! This pan's really hot. I stir it in there. That's 4 cups of water. And then 3 more makes 7, because I used 3.5 cups of rice. So then I'm going to stir it a little more. My thing is really hot, and I keep burning myself. So I'm mixing it so I can feel all the rice not sticking to the bottom of the pan. And then I'm going to stir my sauce. As you see how the tomatoes are getting all mushy into like a sauce. So then I add some lemon. And I squeeze it on this thing because these are fresh lemons from my father-in-law's house. And they have a lot of seeds. That should be good. And that's it. And my trick to my rice is I let it boil. I know usually people let it boil and then they cover it right away. But I let it boil for like 5-10 minutes till I see it getting thick. And then I cover it and I let it cover for like another 15 minutes on a low heat. And then it's done. So I'll come back and show you the end result. Okay, so my rice is boiling. So if I stirred it, the rice is feeling thicker. Whoops, the rice is feeling thicker. And so right about now I'm going to cover it. My nifty pan that I got from the yard sale. $2. Look at that pan. My rice never burns in this pan. And then my sauce, I think it's called rendering. I'm rendering it down or something. I don't know what it's called. But see how it's getting thicker? It's like a chunky sauce. So in a couple minutes I'm going to add my shrimp. And I'm going to turn down my rice to about there. So today we went to the Oriental market and I bought these shrimp. They're divined and they are deshelled. I think that's what you call it. And they're low fat, high protein. And there is, can you see? Well, for 4 ounces, there's 2 grams of fat, 1 carbohydrate, 23 proteins, and 0 fiber. So, and there's about 8 per container. So, there's 8 servings per container. And each serving is 4 ounces. So, 4 ounces is about, I calculated it, 4 ounces is about 5 shrimp. So, these are my shrimp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse them off. They're still kind of frozen. I'm going to rinse them off a little bit. And then kind of do that. Okay. And then, let's see if I can do this. I'm going to pour them in my sauce. Okay. So I'm going to pour them in my sauce and I'm going to mix them in there. This is kind of like a ranchero sauce. I'm half Mexican and my wife is full Mexican and my daughter's full Mexican. So I make a lot of Mexican dishes. But in that sauce I use this Rotel again, and that's what brings the spice because of the chilies. So I'm going to go ahead and let it cook, and when it's done all the shrimp will be pink. Okay? Okay, hold on.